nestled right in the heart of Central Europe, you'll find a little republic with a big landscape. For such a small country of just under 8,000 square miles, it packs an almighty punch. It's got everything a traveller could wish for, from pretty little rustic villages to large cosmopolitan cities. It's a beautiful land, largely covered with vast forested areas, full of birds and wildlife, castles, churches, ancient towns and villages. And even though it's surrounded by 4 other countries, it still has its own unique little bit of coastline. And some of the most turquoise rivers I've ever seen. To top all this off, the people and the culture, absolutely fantastic. And it's not bad below the ground either. So I'm Michael.
It's temporarily closed, so we're not going to take any chances on that.
And this is Jimmy.
Hopefully get them all flying up.
And for Jimmy and I, the country's main attraction would be its soaring mountains. These extremely steep limestone peaks provide some of the hardest trekking in the whole of Europe. So please come and join us on our journey as we trek through some of the toughest and steepest terrain we've ever climbed. Welcome to Slovenia, and welcome to the Kamnik Savinja Alps. So day 2. Well, what can I say about day 2? It was one of those days when you just don't fancy it. I definitely start the day quite enthusiastic, but I have to say, as soon as I got to the first steep drop off, my enthusiasm was sharp dampened. Then by the time I got to the top of Turska Gora and looked over to the next ridge leading up towards Skuta, I was already starting to have me doubts whether on this trip I'd bitten off more than I could chew. And by the time the midday sun came, the temperature soared to about 30 degrees. That was decision taken. So on this occasion, we decided to give Skuta a miss. It was a tough decision for me to make, but they do say pride comes before a fall. So on this occasion, we planned an alternative route and got to the hut early.
Good morning and welcome to day 2 of mine and Jimmy's trek across the Slovenian Alps. So starting with yesterday, that was a bit of a wake-up call in terms of the terrain that we've got to cover. Tough day yesterday, just over 7,000 feet of elevation and covered about 11.5 miles. Really it was like 2 days in one, because originally the hut that we were going to stay in has been burnt down, so we ended up staying in the hut down the bottom there, which I think you can just see behind us. And today we're headed to a mountain range behind us, which is this one here, and the highest point of that's a mountain called Skuta, which we're going to go directly over the top of. So I have to say it looks pretty awesome again, this mountain range. Where we came yesterday, it looks pretty awesome also down that pathway behind us there. That's where we came down yesterday, the hut. There's a similar sort of terrain today, but there's about 3,500 feet of ascent on this walk and about 3,500 feet of descent before we get to the hut there this afternoon, hopefully. It's only about 6 miles, unlike yesterday was about 11. Yesterday had 7,000 feet of ascent on it, so hopefully today's a bit easier, but I'm not expecting it to be easy by any stretch. Look at what I can see behind us. But the very few out of kits on again, and we'll see how things pan out. And I'll crack on now, and I'll catch you later. So that's Kamniško Sedlo, I think it is, down there, and that's the mountain range we came over yesterday. We've come up this path here, and where we're headed today is this mountain range here, which the top of that is Scooter. So it looks pretty awesome again. The views from here are quite special, as you can see. And that's actually the valley down there that we came up from yesterday, so that's where we started our trek on day one. So we came around the side of there, a bit dodgy, back down to the hut. So that's where we left it. That's Scooter top. Didn't fancy that one. Snowy, Michael. Snowy. Ah, that's the awesome rock face of Scooter. I've missed that out. I'm pleased I have. This is bad enough in this heat. Beautiful scenery though.
So as always, Jimmy and I would quench our thirst with a couple of well-deserved pints and contemplate our thoughts on what tomorrow would bring.